Next. The value of fuel and lubricants exported from Singapore in 2017 was 90,182 million, right? In standard form, correct to 3SF. So this is your Sec 3 standard form. So they want 3SF. The first thing you can do is to understand that million is 10 to the power of 6. Correct? So you have 90182 times 10 to the power of 6. And then to convert it to standard form, you visualize the decimal point jumping 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, right? So that will give you another 10, 6 plus 4 to give you 10 to the power of 10. So it gives you 9.0182 times 10 to the power of 10. Okay, and therefore, then express this in 3SF, 9.02 times 10 to the power of 10. Remember that your standard form must be, the value in front must be between 1 to 10, exclusive. Okay, inclusive of 1 but excluding 10. Okay, so make sure it's 9.0 something. Next. The value of food exported from Singapore was 6,230 million. The value of food exported from Singapore in 2017 was 8,007 million. Calculate the percentage increase in the value of food exported. You can convert it to standard form or you can don't convert it to standard form. But one thing to take note is that if this is in million, technically the million will just cancel out if you think about it. So actually the million will just cancel out. You could just use 8,007 and 6,230 while ignoring the million. Okay. Now, when you want to calculate percentage increase, this one from primary school, you should know what is your denominator? Your denominator is always your earlier year. It's always what is before. So students may make a mistake here because you put the wrong denominator. You put 8,007 instead of 6,230. When you are doing percentage comparison, whatever you're comparing against is always the reference, which is the earlier year, because time cannot travel in the opposite direction. Okay? So percentage increase is equal to 8,007 million minus 6,230 million out of 6,230 million. And in this case, you realize all got million, so actually the million will just cancel out and then you times 100%. In this case, it's like you can factorize out the million to cancel. Okay, press your calculator. I think you will get 28.5% in 3SF. Then students will ask, well, if you leave the answer as a fraction, it's fine. If you left it as a fraction. In case you leave it as a fraction, it must be a mixed number. Cannot be improper fraction. Okay, I wrote the percentage sign. Erase it. Next, the value of machinery and equipment exported from Singapore in 2012 was 2.3 times 10 to the power of 11. In 2017, this had increased by 9.3%. So you realize from standard form, they also test you what, Sec 1 percentage, or technically primary school percentage. Calculate the value of machinery and equipment exported in 2017. So this had increased by 9.3%. If you increase by 9.3%, you are now finding 109.3% in 2017. So you should be comfortable enough to find 109.3% directly without having to go and find 9.3% or something and then go and add. No, just find directly 109.3%. Okay. So value in 2017 is just equal to 2.3 times 10 to the power 11 times 109%. So 109.3 out of 100. And that will give you 2.5139 times 10 to the power 11. Because this is an exact value, you should leave it as this value. But if you rounded it off to 3SF, if you round it off to 3SF, I think they will accept it still. But actually, if you think about it logically, you should not round off. Technically, it's an exact value. Okay. Next. In 2012 to 2017, the value of manufactured goods imported decreased by 6.1%. In 2017, the value was this. Calculate the value of manufactured goods imported in 2012. So you must know how your percentage comparison works when they tell you from 2012 to 2017. So this is what I mentioned just now. In percentage comparison or percentage increase, decrease, your earlier year is always your 100%. So whatever is your initial year, which in this case is 2012, that will be your 100%, not the other way around. So when you decrease by 6.1%, it will mean that your 2017 is actually 93.9% of the original. Okay, so some of you will get this question wrong because you tell me that 2017 is 100%, then you go and find 93.9%, which is wrong. 2017 is your 93.9% because when doing percentage comparison, generally speaking, your earlier year is your 100%. All right, so don't be confused by this. So this kind of question, actually in primary school, you also see before percentage comparison or percentage increase, decrease, which is the earlier year is your 100%. Okay. You are in secondary school. I don't want to see this. I have seen this before by my Sec 1, Sec 2, some of them are still writing like that. The examiner will penalize you for presentation. In secondary school, percentage, we never use arrow. And in any case, you don't even need to write the percentage. You just write value in 2017 is equal to, so your 1.8 times 10 to the power of 10 is actually your 93.9%. So you just divide by 93.9 and then you times 100. That's all. Alternatively, you take 100 out of 93.9 times 1.8 times 10 to the power of 10. So this will give you 1.9169. Times 10 to the power of 10. Okay, so either exact or 3SF, both are fine. Okay. So you see a lot of your Sec 1, Sec 2 concepts being tested. Like what I always say, your O-levels, more than half of your paper is actually Sec 1, Sec 2 concepts. So even if you are doing, you know how to do your Sec 4 concepts, actually, if you go and look at it, Sec 4 concepts don't make up a very significant portion of your marks. Not more than 20% generally speaking. Because actually, there are very few Sec 4 topics. Okay.